How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's class. I'm Coach Ray. And so what we're going to use today, we're going to use two tall sticks. I have 7-footers and a 5-footer here. Typically, if you're 5'11" or taller, it's best if you order the 7-foot sticks along with the 5-foot. And if you're shorter, typically the 6-footers and 4-footers go good. And so what we're going to need today is we're going to need at least a bench or a chair or something that's actually relatively heavy for you to generate tension against. And so what I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with a 5-foot stick here today. So we're going to work from the feet up to the spine, and then for the strength training drills, we're going to get into some different leverages. And I'll explain that quite a bit a little bit later, but also for deep fascial stretching, we're going to open up the spine, chest, and neck area. I know a lot of people tend to need that. And so what I'm going to do here is we're going to start with a foot and ankle drill. It's going to be a little bit of coordination as well. And so I'm going to start in the horse stance. Both feet are facing forward here. And I want to take the stick and I want to place it directly in front. I'm going to take my hands, hold them at sternum or chest level. I'm going to pick up the bottom of the stick, angle it in just a smidge here, just a little bit, because this is just for balance here. And so what I'm going to do teeter-tottering with my feet and ankles here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring both heels off the floor slightly. Okay, this is going to be the neutral position for this. And so I'm going to start by bringing my left heel up, keeping my right heel down, hovering off the floor. And then what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to switch what heel is up. So as I'm bringing my right heel up, my left heel drops down, but still not touching the floor. Now I'm going to switch again. Good. Try to come up as high as you can. Switch. And so what we're doing, we're keeping constant tension on a lot of those tissues in the lower leg muscles. Now we're going to switch again. And from here, we're getting quite a bit of work in the feet, ankles, toes, and calves. So we're going to switch again. Good. Switch. Remember to keep those shoulders down. Okay. Switch. And your hips should not be moving up and down either. There shouldn't be a change in level of your hips. Switch. 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 And switch. And back down. Good. And so now we're going to get into ankle circles, but what's going to be a little tricky here is I'm actually going to have you guys go with the ankles going in opposite directions here, okay? And so if my left ankle is going counterclockwise, that means my right ankle is going clockwise, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to start from a 12 o'clock position. And so I'm going to bump both heels towards the outside. So right foot's on 3 o'clock, left foot's on 9 o'clock. Then we're going to go to 6, keep the heels off the floor, okay? Then I'm going to go 9 o'clock with my right heel, 3 o'clock with my left, and then back to 12. We're going to repeat that again, okay? I'm going to go out, down, in, then up, out, down, in, up, good, out, down, in, up, one more time, out, down, in, and up. Now we're going to go opposite, so in, down, out, up, good, in, down, out, up, good, in, down, out, up, one more time, in, down, out, and up, back down, and good. And so that's just a quick little drill to kind of get a little bit of coordination, but we also get a lot of tension on the foot and ankles there, so it's a real good way to warm up. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get into a relatively wide stance here, okay? So I'm not going to go too wide because I'm going to be lunging side to side. What I'm going to do with the stick is I'm going to have it in front, okay? and I'm having it about roughly 1.5 feet in front of me, 1.5 feet to 2 feet, okay? And so from here, what I want to do is I want to grab the stick at about chest height from here. I'm going to push my hips back and push the stick out in front of me here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to lunge to my right. I'm going to rotate to the left. Then we'll come back to center. And now I'm going to switch. I'm going to lunge to my left, rotate to my right. Going to get a stretch in the rib cage and the lats here. Now I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to lunge to my right, rotate to my left. Back to center, lunge to the left, rotate to the right. Now I'm really trying to drive my hips back. I'm not sitting them forward, I'm trying to drive them back. Back to center. Let's go a couple more. Lunge to the right, rotate to the left, drive those hips back. Back to center. Lunge to the left, rotate to the right. Makes you breathe. One more time, lunge to the right, rotate to the left. Really try to reach with the stick here. Okay, allow those lats to open up here. Back to center, lunge to the left, rotate to the right. Drive those hips, drive their hips away from the stick here. Back to center, and then come up. Gonna wiggle your feet in, okay? Get out of that safely. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna place the stick behind my mid-back, okay? And I wanna have my elbows at about 90 degrees here. And so my fingertips are not at the edge of the stick. I wouldn't worry about that. I would actually try to focus on keeping your elbows in close to your rib cage here. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take that horse stance again, okay? And I wanna keep my pelvis up, so I'm gonna squeeze my glutes here, okay? So I don't want to be in a position where I'm here, right? I want to be here. So what I'm going to first do is we're going to do create circles with the stick. So moving the scapula in a circular motion. So I can look at the end of the stick here, we'll say on my left-hand side, just to make sure creating a circle. So I'm going to go create a circle going forward with my left hand. So what you should feel here, you should feel the scapula moving along that rib cage. Try to activate some of those tissues, open it up a bit. Okay, you don't want to flex and move the spine here. It's just the shoulders and the scapula moving. So you can create big circles if you have the movement, or make those circles small if you don't have that much control of the scapula. And notice my hands, I'm not gripping the stick, right? Hands are out flat. Now I'm gonna switch directions. Keep it controlled. Your pace should not be faster than mine, okay? Going. So we're really trying to loosen up the scapula, shoulder blades, trying to get everything to move the way it's supposed to, while at the same time opening up the chest a little bit. 3, 2, 1, good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to get into some lateral flexion of the spine. So this one's going to be a little bit tricky, because the positioning on the stick is actually going to be on top of the shoulders, but we're going to add a little bit of tension there. And so what I would say would be a good measurement is, if you have a short stick, I would say grab the route, run it into the stick here. It's just a good base for people to actually grip for this particular drill. And so I'm going to have my feet facing forward. Again, we're going to be in that horse stance again. Glutes are tight. And so what I'm going to do from this position is I'm first going to pull the stick apart lightly, about 15%. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to pull my left hand down towards my hip, keeping my hips from actually moving. So I'm laterally flexing. So I'm going to come back up, still pulling apart. I'm going to pull that right into the stick down, laterally flexing the spine. So you're probably going to feel your spine open up a little bit and only go as far as you can control so it doesn't cause pain. Back to neutral, still pulling the stick apart, pull my left hand down towards my left hip, and your head should be tilting along with your spine here. Back to neutral, pull my right hand towards my right hip, back to neutral. Let's go one more time each side, pulling apart, pull my left hand towards my left hip, back to neutral. Now pulling my right hand towards my right hip, back to neutral, and slowly ease off. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a warm-up. So kind of covered quite a few things there, but now we're going to get into the fun stuff. So now we're going to get into the strengthening drills. And so I talked about there being a little bit of different leverages. And so there's going to be quite a few things that are going to be changed here. So we are first going to have our feet together, okay? And so what I'm going to do with both sticks, and again, these are 7-foot sticks, I'm going to reach up towards the top, and I'm going to have the bottoms of the sticks angled at about 1 and 11 o'clock here. This is going to create a little bit more stability, but it's also going to make it a little bit harder. So I'm going to go with my hands above my head, which is actually going to challenge that leverage system and change that lever a bit here. And so I want to keep my shoulder blades down, okay? And from here, keep my shoulder blades down. I want to drive those sticks into the floor with 60% tension here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right knee up, keep my left leg straight, hold, and back down. Now it's going to create a lot more of a challenge on the core here. If being in this position hurts too much, just drop your hands down a little bit, okay? So I'm going to drive those sticks to the floor again. Bring that right knee up. Hold. 3, 2, 1, back down. Good. And now we're going to do 2 more. But now we're going to add in a knee extension, okay? So I'm going to drop both sticks down, keep the shoulder blades down, right knee up, hold, and then extend. 3, 2, 1, back in, and down. Now it's going to be a lot harder, so the amount of hip flexion you'll have access to might be significantly different here. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. From here, drive those sticks down, activate, should be at 60%. Ride that knee up, extend, back in, and down. And so now we're going to get into the opposite side. And so, positioning is still the same, mechanics are still the same. If you need to, bring the sticks down, shake your arms out a little bit. Gonna be up again, okay? Gonna drive both sticks into the floor. Bring the left knee up, right leg straight, hold. Down. Good. We're going to go 3 more here, okay? Drive both sticks down, 60%. Left knee up. we're gonna do the same thing on this side we did the other side, because we're gonna add in those extensions, okay? So drive both sticks down, right left knee up, extend, back in, and down. Good. One more time here, okay? Drop both sticks down, left knee up, extend, back in, and down. Good. Okay, so that just changes the levers out a little bit, makes it quite a bit harder. So you get a lot more of a challenge on the core and the hip, actually working with those ranges in a little bit of a more longer lever position. And so, how we're gonna do, we're gonna add in some hip abduction, but we're actually gonna add in a little bit of hip rotation here. And so we'll walk through this. And so, we'll start with my feet together, okay? Toes forward. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the sticks and I'm gonna have them in line with the middle of my feet. Now, I'm gonna have my grips or my hands at shoulder height here, okay? So with this, again, we're gonna add in some rotation of the hip. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drive our shoulder blades down, drive the sticks into the floor. Gonna take my right foot, my right heel, and press it against the right stick here. Now what we do from here, then I'm going to rotate my hip externally, pulling my foot away from me rather than having it in front of me. And I'm gonna drive back on the stick. Bring it back in so my toes are pointed forward, and then relax. Okay, and so as we're rotating, you're gonna feel a little bit of a change in what part of your glute and hip is working here. So we're gonna do a couple more. Drive both sticks down, both shoulder blades are down. I'm gonna drive my heel against that right stick here. Hold, toes pointed forward, okay? Gonna externally rotate. I'm driving that foot behind me, okay? Pushing, trying to drive that stick behind my body here. Back forward, and then relax, ease off. We got two more, and then we're gonna switch sides, okay? So drop both sticks down. Should be at 70% tension here. Push that heel against the stick or midfoot. Externally rotate. Should feel a really big part of that glute working here. And external rotators of the hip. Back forward. And relax. We got one more here, okay? Drive both sticks down, shoulder blades down. Bring that foot against the stick, push. You should be driving against the stick the entire time, okay? So the foot is driving outwards to the right side of my body, and I'm gonna externally rotate. Foot's trying to drive behind me. Bring it back forward, so driving against the stick, and then back in. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the left side, okay? We're gonna do the same thing we did on the right side. From here, shoulder blades down, drive both sticks down. Right left foot to the left stick. Right leg should remain straight. Externally rotate. And keep your ankle dorsiflexed, so toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Back forward. And ease off. Okay, we got 3 more reps here, okay? Drop both sticks down, Bring that left foot to that left stick, drive. Externally rotate. Remember that foot is driving behind your body, trying to bring that left foot behind your body. Back forward. And relax. We got 2 more here, okay? Drive both sticks down. Bring the left foot to the left stick. Externally rotate. Make sure you breathe here. Do not hold your breath. Back forward. And end. Good. We got 1 more, okay? Last one. Just got to drive. All right. Drive both sticks down. Shoulder blades down. Bring that left foot to the left stick here. Externally rotate. Drive that foot backwards. Back forward. Back in and ease off. Okay, so that was some of the hip drills. Okay, and so now I'm going to take the bench or whatever heavy seat, or you might even be able to use a wall with this, okay? What we're gonna do is we're effectively gonna do a hamstring curl here, but we're gonna do it from a position where we're completely upright, and so the positioning of the hips makes a significant difference if the hamstring gets more activated or more deactivated. It basically turns on or turns off the hamstring. And so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna line myself up with the bench, okay? And so I'm going to have my feet together, okay? I'm going to have the sticks angled in towards my toes, about 6 inches in front of my toes here, or a couple inches. And so I'm going to have my hands about roughly shoulder height. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to drive those sticks to the floor first. So keep tension in the core. And from this position, I want to bring my right heel up behind me and press my heel into the bench, keeping my ankle dorsiflex. Push it about 50% tension. Keeping the hips forward. And ease off. Good. We're going to do 2 more. And so when you're doing this, make sure your hips aren't doing this. You're not going into anterior tilt, trying to keep it posterior. So drive the sticks into the floor first, about 60% into the floor. I'm going to bring my heel up into the bench again. Keep my ankle dorsiflex. Drive that heel upwards into the bench as if I'm trying to lift it off the floor. 50%. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. You should feel like your hamstrings are activating here, okay? So we're gonna 1 more time. I'm gonna shoulder blades down, drive my sticks into the floor, bring my heel up to the bench, drive that heel upwards. Keep driving up. 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. Now we're going to switch sides. So you're going to notice a little bit of a difference in activation from one hamstring to the other. Again, this is normal, but shows you what you need to work on here, okay? So, shoulder blades down, drive 6 into the floor. I'm going to bring my left heel up into the bench, and I'm going to keep my ankle dorsiflex and drive. Drive my heel up, keep my hips tucked in. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. We're going to do 2 more here, okay? Drive both sticks into the floor. Gonna bring my left heel up. Keep those hips forward. Dorsiflex the ankle. Keep that right leg straight. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. We're gonna go one more time here, okay? First activate, drop both sixes to the floor. Bring our left heel up into the bench, ankle dorsiflex, drive. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. And relax. Okay, so that was a hamstring movement for today. So this is a really good way to build that isometric tension in the hamstrings. And for those who don't know how to activate their hamstring, this might be a really, really good drill and exercise for you to do to start regaining some of that control again. So I'm gonna move this out. Now we're gonna get into the deep fascial stretching. We're gonna add in some movements here. So we're gonna work on the spine and open up the chest, shoulders, and rib cage, but we're also gonna add in some rotations as we go along here. And so I'm gonna have my feet pointed forward, okay, toes pointed forward, and I wanna make sure that my feet are roughly about shoulder width apart, okay? Now I'm actually gonna have the sticks about roughly a foot in front of my toes here, okay? And I want to have my sticks in line with my feet, in line with my mid-toe. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by gripping a stick roughly about shoulder to chest height, okay? I'm going to drive my hips back and drive my arms straight out. And what you should feel is you should feel the T-spine kind of open up here, a little bit of a stretch in the upper spine. Don't let your knees collapse in either. Keep the knees stacked over the ankles and toes. Come back up slowly. Another important thing to remember here is to keep your back neutral. Don't let your back round over, okay? So from here, drive those hips back, extend those hands out. Now what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna slowly start to move the sticks outwards or move my hands outwards like I'm opening up for a hug. Keeping my shoulder blades back. My shoulder blades are gonna move, right? My shoulder blades are gonna retract a bit here. And now I'm gonna bring the sticks down to my hips, towards my hips. Then bring them back up slowly. Try not to change the level of your spine here. Back up. Good. We're going to do another one here. Okay, but we're going to be down in that position for quite some time. So, drive the hips back, extend those hands out. Bring the hands out. Down. Bring it back up. Now I'm going to rotate to my right. I'm going to rotate both sticks to the right here. My chin is still facing the floor. Okay. Both arms straight. Back to neutral. Now I'm going to rotate to the left. Both arms straight. Back to the center. And come up. Good. And now what we're going to do, we're going to start to add in more rotation on this one, but I'm going to manipulate my shoulder blades or positioning of my shoulders to enforce a little bit more rotation. And so, hands are gonna be at shoulder height, shoulder chest height here. Drive those hips back, hands straight out. I'm gonna rotate to the right, head face down toward the floor. I'm going to push my left shoulder forward while pulling my right shoulder blade back. You should notice a little bit more rotation in the T-spine here. Then ease off, back to neutral, and now we're gonna go to the opposite side. Same position. Push my right shoulder forward, left shoulder blade back. Back to neutral. And then come up. Okay? And so that was a really good way to kind of open up a lot of the anterior tissues, a lot of the chest tissues, and also work on that spinal mobility, especially with some rotation. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to get into a bow and arrow hamstring stretch. This is going to be a little tricky. So I'm actually going to use the bench here or a table or whatever you may have. And so I'm going to walk up to the bench here. I want my right leg facing forward as my left heel is up on whatever apparatus I happen to be using. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the stick in line with my left knee, okay? And it's also going to be in line with the toes of my right foot here. So it's going to be a little bit away from the body. I want to keep my ankle dorsiflexed here, slight bend to the knee, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to drive my left heel into the bench here, reach up and over with my right hand, okay, grab up top. My left hand is right about where my hips are, and I'm going to drive my hips away, and then I'm going to do a bow and arrow on the stick here. Should feel a huge stretch in the hamstring. We're going to ease off. Good. We're going to rotate the stick a bit, okay? Same steps. Drive the hips away first, and then I'm going to extend both hands out. Keep the ankle dorsiflexed, okay? That's extremely important with this. If you extend the ankle, then we actually take away that stretch. Come back up. Good. Let's go one more time here. Rotate the stick a bit, okay? Drive those hips away. Extend both hands out. Slowly ease off. And relax. And so now, you're going to do the opposite side. So move this over. So again, these drills should not be painful, okay? If there's pain, just reduce your range of motion a bit. So, left foot's pointed forward, right heel's on the bench, toes pointed up towards the ceiling, sticks in line with my right knee and in line with my left toes, okay? Take my left hand, reach up over the top, driving my heel down into the bench lightly, 15%. Slight knee bend, drive my hips away, then extend. Just slowly ease off. You're also going to feel stretch on that opposite lateral side here. Probably get a little bit of an oblique in the hip. Okay, that's normal. So what we're going to do from here, drive that heel into the bench lightly, drive the hips away, then extend. Make sure you're breathing here, okay? Ease off. Good. Rotate the stick a little bit, okay? Last time, drive that heel into the bench. Drive your hips away from the stick, then extend. 3, 2, 1, ease off, and relax, okay? And so that was a bow and arrow variation there, just to open up the hamstrings and some of those lateral tissues at the same time. And so now, I'm gonna move this over here. I'm gonna take the short stick. So we talked about opening up the neck area a little bit here, neck and chest. Even the collar, the tissues around the collarbone could get really, really tight as well. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the stick, I'm gonna place it behind my back here, okay? I'm gonna have my hands right outside my hips. So if you're looking, hands are here, okay? I wanna make sure I keep my arms locked, so my elbows are gonna be locked out, okay? And I'm gonna take, so horse stance here, toes pointed forward. What I'm first gonna do is I'm going to pull the stick apart with my arms straight and then drive my shoulder blades down. Then what I'm gonna do from this position, I'm gonna pull my chin back, and I'm going to tilt my chin upwards towards the ceiling. Slowly come down. We're probably gonna get a huge stretch in the front of the neck here, okay? So again, if it's painful, reduce your range of motion. So I'm gonna pull the stick apart, shoulder blades down, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tilt my head to my right, driving my left shoulder down towards the floor. Ease off. Ease off tension. The tension should only be at about 20% here, okay? So I'm gonna pull the stick apart again, drive the shoulders down. Now I'm gonna tilt my head to my left. Slowly ease off. Good, and now we're gonna stretch out some of those posterior muscles here, okay? That's one. Pull the stick apart, shoulder blades down. I'm gonna pull my chin back and then tilt my chin down towards my chest. Should be getting a stretch on the back of the neck here. Keep the ribs down, come up slowly, ease off. And that concludes today's class. Hope you guys had fun.